people out there. This is another public announcement from the United States Private Enterprise Free State, my people. Is anybody out there? Yo, is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? So let's talk about something, my people. Let's talk about the gurus that's in the industry right now dropping it on the process. So, if you got Anna Von Rice, who lives all the way in Alaska, why hasn't she gone to the ice wall? If there really is an ice wall. The reason we speak upon an ice wall, because if Tartaria was before this, and then there were other worlds before Tartaria, and they constantly talk about an ice wall, and that's where Tartaria is. There's no fucking ice wall, okay? The only ice wall that they have up is the wall that's over your motherfucking eyes right the fuck now. That's the ice wall, okay? Because everything is built within a circle, within a sphere, straight up. So how in the hell, you know what I'm saying? Everything is built and it starts from a circle. So if it starts from a motherfucking circle, how the fuck did we come into square two-dimensional paper? Straight up. Square dimensional two-dimension paper from, if you go way back and start studying how they build. That is why they call them master masons, because on the structure of the mind, the structure of your brain, they built a motherfucking brain. AI is a brain. It is a thinking, feeling brain, which corresponds to the human body. So, if AI is a brain, and you yourself as a so-called human being and animal possess a brain, and if the brain is a template of 4 plates, and within them 4 plates, earth, air, fire, water, earth, air, fire, water, 4 templates. There's only 4 templates. Everything is based off of 4 mixtures of a chemical. And there's only 4 chemicals that create life. Air, fire, earth, water. Nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. It's only 4. Only 4 is based on 4. So within those 4 elements, you can create anything you want to create. So basically, niggas are just creating. Your template is the brain. So if you base the template off of the 4 elements, the 4 chemicals that start life, then, you know, you can peep how shit is moving out here. That's how you create. That's what the Master Masons knew. From studying the mind, they knew how to fucking build. So basically, in Tartaria, or whatever you want to call it, those people, you know, there was no Morocco in Tartaria. There was no Morocco in Tartaria. And there was no such thing as a Moroccan. And there was no fucking such thing as a Moor in Tartaria. So you could go and study the shit for yourself. Basically, Tartaria was before this. So Tartaria is this today. You still have Tartarian ways and Tartarian law, which is all Christian, Catholic, whatever else you want to call it. So those templates are the same templates that get recycled over and over and over again, because that is the brain and the blueprint. Damn it. Missed my fucking exit. The same blueprint, my people. It's the same blueprint that gets reset every motherfucking year, 12 months, whatever you want to call it. You know, I saw something that they're going to add an hour on to Earth time, which we may have. I'm moving right now, silver surfing through the galaxy. Check one, check two. So my people, basically Tartaria, if you go back and study it for yourself, there were no Moors there. There was no Morocco there. So, you know, we can just override that and move on to the next thing. So in Tartaria, the way that they built the IRS and the way that they built the Treasury, because the IRS and Tartaria was in Tartaria, and the Treasury was one of the original buildings from Tartaria, and they were built a certain way. So you have to study Tartaria, because it's going to tell you how those buildings that we go in to do refunds and all types of other things, and that the Treasury is supposed to be the Treasury for everybody on the planet, especially those that have a birth certificate within the jurisdiction of their country and state. And you could make up your country or state, but the whole thing is you would have to put that on the market to even create wealth for the state or country that you have built, straight up. So basically, that's why niggas fall back on the other birth certificate. So they say it's not a bond, but that's a goddamn lie, because it holds your labor. And if that bond, the birth certificate, holds the fucking labor, then it holds a whole lot more. Okay, call that the birth certificate, the holding company, straight up, because the SSA is a vault. Okay, my people? The SSA is a vault. For you to even break in the vault means that you have to have proper paperwork. And if you don't have proper paperwork, it is frivolous, straight up. So you would have to study straight up, and you have to study because their jurisdiction is always going to be different. And you will find that out when you start filing your own paperwork under your own tutelage, under you studying for your goddamn self, because you're the only one that can get you out of whatever situations that brought you to the process in the first place. So basically, Tartaria is what you see right now, but at a low level of Tartaria. So people gonna have to wake up on a whole nother level if they even want to get through the process. Because why JFK didn't want people to know about Tartaria? Because there are so many secrets that they had already unraveled, that they have to keep you forever dark in your darkness with the veil over your eye. so that you could never see the truth and get yourself the fuck up out of that shit quick. So if you start to understand the whole system, you study beyond Tartaria, and then you study beyond that and beyond that, because you're going to get to the center. And boom. You're going to, I hope I'm still fucking live. You're going to get to the center of where all of this shit takes place. For real. I don't know if this is still rolling, but I'm talking. So you're going to find out a whole lot of shit when you go beyond and into the center, because it's going to drop so much fucking science on your ass that you're going to be like, oh shit, I ain't even know that shit. Because you got to study your own self to find out the real, you know. And when you do study and find out the real, and then other people are talking the real too, then you already know that they've been studying. But, you know, this game right now, so let's go back to Tartaria and the IRS. It was built with a certain type of nut, and it was built with a certain type of voltage. So remember when the other guru, Patrick Devine, was talking about the IRS in Missouri and how far underground it was, because that nigga was studying something. He was a builder himself. So he knew a lot of shit and also studying what he studied. So that nigga was studying some deeper shit. So who's to say if Patrick Devine is alive or not? But I know that I called his number up and it said private use. It was private. That's what comes on and on the answering machine or something that answers, and it says private, but something. So Patrick Devine was on some shit, but he was so fucking militant that, you know, a lot of the gurus don't understand that the power Tartaria dropped is that it was all colors of people. It's all colors of people right here, right now. Everything is right here, right now. It has not happened. It is happening right the fuck now. So if it's happening right now, where are you on the node of where it's happening right now? So, you know, that's what the fuck you need to ask yourself, because the more you dig in to Tartaria and the other worlds beyond Tartaria, you wake up on a whole nother fucking level. You out of here, straight up out. So now they reel you back in, because now you got to go back and you got to correct the records before you can exit this planet safely. Because you can never exit this planet safely if you have not corrected the status, your status. And if you have children, you have to help them and teach them how to correct their status. Because if not, you have to come back and learn that shit again and again and again and again and again and again and again, over and over and over and over and over and over again. Straight up. I got to sample that shit. So anyway, my people, so Tartaria, straight up, you know, you would be called Tartarians if they didn't your state wherever you were born with that birth certificate. That is the record that you have to correct. Once you correct that one record the proper way, it's a wrap. That is a key to the trust. They have to give you the key when you possess proper documentation, and you have to enforce it. You may have to enforce it through your own court at this point in the game, because from lack of full disclosure based upon the warehouse, which is the hospital, lack of full disclosure was not telling your parents about the warehouse receipt that they left unmanaged. Okay? You have been unmanaged all your life because you are still an orphan within their system. And the orphanage is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hello, how may we help you? Every time you call their fucking office. Okay? So, what the fuck are they telling you? If you are an orphan has no lineage. You have no fucking lineage, my people, if you are still on the records as a motherfucking orphan. Okay, you are an orphan that has not properly disengaged from and not corrected your status, which means that you may have to come back a whole nother fucking lifetime again just to correct your status. And you have to learn all over again how to correct your status, because you can't exit this planet without correction. Because Earth is a learning ground, and this is where you make all your mistakes. So you can keep making mistake after mistake after mistake, because you see that shit? Oh my God, that shit is, yo, are y'all seeing the sky? This shit is crazy. That's the sun. Y'all can see this shit? That's the sun setting right over here. That's a different sky. That looked like a sunset in a Florida sky in winter, not a New York sky in winter. So that's a deep, 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 deep fucking sunset right there. I hope y'all saw that. I hope I'm fucking still live. I don't know if I am, but whatever. So you are still an orphan on the record if you have not corrected your fucking status. Straight up. You have to go and correct your status. And there's only two ways to correct status. And that's through probate, and that's through the Supreme Court. County clerk does not correct status. County clerk keeps records and issue DBAs, and you can put things on file with the county clerk, such as memorandums of trust and shit like that, affidavits, yada. And that's all certified. So, that's the bottom line. And if you have not corrected status, you have to come back to this planet over and over again, because they catch your soul before you can go into what you think is the light. It's not a white light. It's a gold light, my people. You walk into the golden light. When you see the golden light, that's what you walk into. You can't walk to the white light. And somebody's always going to stop you in a dream from you even walking in to the white light on the astral plane. So, even though the astral plane is neon, which means that going in with your astral body. That's why you can't take your physical body into the astral plane, because it's a different dimension made up of different elements and chemicals. So how are you going to go into another plane? You can't go into another plane if you're coming out of one plane and don't have those chemicals and elements to go into the next plane. So if you're trying to get into the next fucking plane, you're going to have to take all the elements before you go into the next plane. You have to ingest them before you even go. You have to ingest them now. So you would have to go start buying that in it. That's what's going to put you into the next plane. Now, to all my motherfuckers that really know where to get the shit from, and that's PegasusProducts.com. You go there, you buy the 4 elements, you straight. Yo, let's check that sunset. If you can see it, if you can see the sunset. So you got to go to Pegasus Products. You got to go and get those 4 elements. Nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. You get those 4 elements, you can make anything. You can make all types of drugs. You can make the healing. You could heal whatever diseases are out there. That's why Dr. Sebi was healing people. But he was such a big healer, how himself he could die unless he created his death. So that's another thing. You know, all of these people that came before us that dropped the science, left the maps, left the blueprints and shit, and then they just bounced. You know what I'm saying? And if you notice that a lot of them never got married and none of them never had children. But they had all of this fucking knowledge and they got picked up and either got picked out, meaning they got, you know, taken out, or who knows? But based on a lot of the information, most of those scientists were not paid. They were hostages in a lab, locked up until they could find the cure or make the new next trend that would get them rich. You know what I'm saying? And everything is done with the precious metals and minerals of the earth. So when they talked about how the Tartarians dealt in salt, you know, everything was salt, because they were deep in that layer of the earth where it was nothing but salt. And salt is crystals, and there was all types of crystals. So a lot of Tartaria was a crystal city. Straight up, because, you know, Tartaria, based upon what I've been seeing and reading and learning from this Tartaria shit, it's the same blueprint as now. But if you don't, you have to wake up on another level of it, and it's all within the brain. So if you can link your brain, because your brain is wireless, link it up to the AI, link it up to the grid, because that's how you get all the information wirelessly. They knew we were a wireless people, but they erased it from history. And they started erasing a lot of things like that from history. And it started in Tartaria. Because before Tartaria, everything was at peace. Because they had a bronze bell, okay? There's the sunset, y'all. They had a bronze bell. So the fucking bronze bell was what kept a lot of things in frequency here on the planet right now, today, straight up. So that bronze bell was built in a Bronze Age. Based upon the pottery and the technology and the instruments, you know what age it was, because it was built with the precious metal of the earth. So basically, look at what houses are built with today. Look at, based upon what pyramids was built with in Egypt, based upon, that is why you have to study on how the IRS and the Treasury were built. And that blueprint still exists, and it comes from Tartaria. because there was an IRS in Tartaria and there was a treasury in Tartaria. The same exact treasury that's here right now, and the same IRS, but maybe under a different name, that was here right now. They always change the motherfucking names. So basically, my people, they changed the name. We're on now. So the gossip is that Trump is trying to change the name of the IRS, or who knows if he hasn't done it already. That happened in Tartaria. They changed the name of the IRS. And Tartaria, was in the 1800s. Okay? So that's not really far. Okay? So, my people, if Tartaria is not so far from our history, then where are you at on the map right now? If Tartaria is right below where we are from right now, which means that it rose up or it rose down. If it rose up, then it's not a flood. But if it rose down, then it was a flood, and that was a mud flood. That was the mud flood that buried them, and then arose from the mud flood was a new people. And what you're seeing right now are the new people of what they call, Gaia, Earth, whatever you want to call it, was erased. And then some of it was how they said smudged. It is smudged where you really can't read it. You can't make it out clearly. So those were the people, the successors, the survivors are the successors who took all that knowledge and hoarded it for themselves to create what you see right now today. Now, we don't consider this a form of slavery. What we consider this is misinformation, misguidance, and lack of full disclosure. That's what this would be right now, my people. We are all in lack of full disclosure. So when you get full disclosure, meaning you have to research this shit, and then you're going to have to take it into a competent court. You can go as your court, but being that the instrument is in their court system, you would have to learn how to go to court from one court to another court. So that's your court in paperwork with their court. So that's what George Washington and all of them people were doing back and forth when they were sending letters. They were negotiating paperwork through courts, straight up. So once you know the court system, which is your own court, but sometimes if you don't, you may have to go through their court. And their court is probate, and their court is the Supreme Court, but you are the Supreme Court. That's why you have to create your own court. You are the Supreme Court going, trying a case in your own court. That's what we do here at the United States Private Enterprise Free State. We got that court class. We got that judge class. You know what I'm saying, my people? Y'all got to get down with it. That class is only $100. You know what I'm saying? It's a 2-hour class. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to conduct yourself as your own judge and within your own court, knowing law, because law is private anyway, but it becomes public when it has an agreement or a signed constitution or the Constitution, Declaration, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. It's an agreement that they put on the record. So anybody can put an agreement on the record, and a record is made down at the county court. You could make a UCC record, You can do that too if you want. But you have to know what you're doing, and based upon what type of jurisdiction you're doing it in, and based upon the court case that you are trying, or whatever you're trying to do with a court case, you know. But the bottom line is that we got that class. It's $100, 407-300-5377. Get down with the class. You know what I'm saying? Get through the door. Get the money, money, money. Straight up, my people. We are on a mission, and the mission is to rise. So if we are in our rising, then there can never be a flood. There can only be an overflow of abundance. An abundance to who? The seeker, the maker, the creator, the trustee, the fucking executor, whoever you want to be, custodian, conservator, you know what I'm saying? Custodian, conservator, guardian. You have to be it all. They show you in the fucking movies. Who the fuck are the Avengers? Who were the Guardians? You are all that and one. Status correction is putting together the pieces of your life. That's all it is. So throw your paperwork on the bed and start piecing it the fuck together. Straight the fuck up. If you piece together your life, the paperwork is you. The pieces are the IRS, the Treasury, vital statistics. Those are pieces in the motherfucking puzzle. Who the fuck did it? You know what I'm saying? You need pieces to get you through the motherfucking door. Straight up. Without the pieces, you cannot get through the door. My people, do you know? That is why it is so fucking important that you know how the IRS and the Treasury were built. What kind of nuts did they use? What kind of bolts? What was the voltage within the chamber? You know what I'm saying? It's credits, nigga. All of that. Paper money is for mothers who are playing a fake game. We are trading Federal Reserve notes, and they're always going to trade Federal Reserve notes. Do you see how they're flipping this shit on niggas? They took away your gold in 1933. Now they are trying to take away your silver in 2020 motherfucking 6. Tell me, how can that be? My people, tell me, how can that be? How can they take your silver in 2020 fucking 6? Please tell me, how can a nigga take silver in 2026 now? You know that they want to outlaw that shit so bad because it got to be in the phones. It got to be in every fucking thing. Every silver right now. Okay, copper got to be in everything. Silver got to be in everything. Gold got to be in everything, my people. So y'all got to get it together. Check it. I'm about to hop off here for a minute.